This time it's ladies on motorcycles. From Hollywood starlets to girls with families and daredevils, of course. They've always been ladies that wanted to ride motorbikes, whether it being in groups with friends or solo adventurers. But at the dawn of the motorcycle, it was decided ladies should be only passengers. However, not everyone felt this way. One such lady was Muriel Hind, who was born in 1882 and was said to be the first lady motorcyclist in England. In the 1890s, she took up cycle riding, but said she found it too slow. After family members bought a motorcycle, Muriel decided she wanted a piece of the action and learnt to ride in 1901. She proved to be highly skilled and soon decided to take up trials riding. Trials at this time was more like a modern enduro, where both bike and rider are tested to destruction. Muriel was very successful and became a works rider for the Rex Company. You've got to remember this was an era where ladies weren't allowed to wear trousers and could be arrested for impersonating a man if they did. Muriel had to dress like any other Edwardian lady, so she approached several manufacturers and encouraged them to build bikes with step-through frames, what at the time would have been called ladies' models. Through her writing, she inspired large numbers of ladies to take up riding in the years just before the First World War. Margerie Cotle was another successful trials rider. Born in 1900, she got her first bike at the age of 14, an ex-War Department Triumph. She took it to a hill climb, organised by the Liverpool Motorcycle Club, and was the only lady competitor. Out of 300 riders taking part, she was one of only 2 riders to make it to the top. In 1920, she moved to trials and was so successful she became a rally works rider, but is best known perhaps for her time at BSA. Her greatest success was the International 6-Day Trial of 1927, where she led a British all-ladies team and won the International Silver Vase. Margerie Cotle continued to ride successfully in trials and was competing in the ISDT at the outbreak of World War II, until she and the British Army team were ordered to return home via neutral Switzerland. The advent of the 50cc class in British motorcycle racing helped to encourage a number of lady riders to take up track racing. Beryl Swain, born in 1936, was one such lady. In 1962, she attempted to compete in her first TT on a 50cc item. In the event, Beryl was forced to carry heavy weights on the bike to compensate for her slight stature. Unfortunately, her racing career would be cut short when ladies were banned from competing at the TT. Of course, Beryl did have to put up with some very chauvinistic attitudes back then.
Slowly but surely, women, the weaker sex, are muscling in on man's domain.
But Beryl would pave the way for riders such as Margerie Cotle, who was, until 2009, the fastest lady around the TT course, at just over 114 miles per hour. Today, Irish road racing includes a number of lady competitors. Not all people want to ride competitively. For some, riding a motorcycle is part of their job. History of lady dispatch riders dates back to the First World War, where some of the wrens were used as dispatch riders due to a shortage of available male riders. During World War II, initially only single women aged between 20 and 30 were called up, but by 1943 almost 90% of single women and 80% of married women were employed in essential and often dangerous work, including the dispatch rider.
But a bike that can be done, and they, like their machines, can take it. But they're not taught to do tricks. This sort of riding shows their sense of balance, their confidence in themselves and their mounts. First part of the training is comparatively easy, but it's just the beginning of a course that's very strenuous. But these girls are tough and they ride with a smile.
And tough they were. In 1941, whilst carrying an urgent message to a command post, Pamela McGeorge was caught in a bombing raid and blown off her bike. Her bike was totally destroyed, but she got up and ran the remaining half mile to deliver a message. Immediately after, she volunteered to go out again. McGeorge received the British Empire Medal for her bravery. Of the almost 100,000 British women who served in World War II, 303 gave their lives during active duty, of whom almost 100 were dispatch riders. After World War II, many ladies decided to continue riding, and whilst some would ride for pleasure and competitions, others still used bikes as part of their job, like these midwives, who found their small motorcycles were easier to get around town than the bicycles they used previously. By the 1960s, the Metropolitan Police selected the first 12 ladies to receive motorcycle training to allow them to operate more effectively in rural areas. Unfortunately, female police motorcyclists remain a rare sight in the UK. For many, however, a motorcycle represents the spirit of adventure. These are sisters Adeline and Augusta Van Buren, who on the 4th of July 1916 set out in an attempt to cross the United States on their 1000cc Indians. 60 days and 5,500 miles later, they arrived in Los Angeles, becoming the first ladies to reach the summit of Pikes Peak on the way. This is Violet Porter of Auckland, New Zealand, who covered over 30,000 miles of lone touring on a BSA sloper during the late 20s and early 30s, whilst camping out in the wild of Australia and New Zealand. The first woman to successfully ride around the world on a motorcycle was Anne-France d'Auberville. In 1972, she rode a Moto Guzzi 750 from France to Afghanistan. The following year, she successfully circumnavigated the globe aboard a 120cc Kawasaki. Almost a decade later, in 1981, Elspeth Beard would become the first British woman to ride around the world. Although she would find, just like Anne did a few years before, that the motorcycle press would find no interest in it at all. So today, largely thanks to social media, lady adventure riders have become media celebrities. Perhaps the most famous one is Nora Lee Shoemaker, whose Itchy Boots YouTube channel has made her one of the world's best known motorcyclists. Like so many, my first experience of a motorcycle was as a pillion passenger. However, it wasn't long before I wanted a bike of my own. So after passing my test, I got my first big bike, a 60s Triumph. Over the years, many bikes have come and gone. It was after a trip to India in 2008 when everything changed, and I realised I was capable of doing so much more with my motorcycles. Since then, I've ridden bikes old and new, big and small, both on track and off-road, and I've travelled extensively all over Europe and beyond. I can honestly say learning to ride a motorcycle has completely changed my life. It's opened many doors and brought me into contact with some amazing people. So remember, if you're a lady rider, you're not alone. What other bikes or collections of bikes would you like to see us do a video on? Maybe you have a bike we can use for a test ride. Either way, get in touch below. If you enjoyed that video, don't forget to like and subscribe. And thank you very much for watching.